So a lot of people are really averse to the pinch collar, and I'm going to talk about that in the second video. But what I want to show you is how to use a pinch collar fairly to the dog. So most trainers that I see and most people I see put a pinch collar on a dog and start yanking the dog around by the pinch collar, which freaks the dog out, and it's very, very, very unfair. So first of all, I use German-made Herm Sprenger pinch collars, of which all the edges are very, very polished. So you don't have any sharp edges like the cheap Chinese ones. That's the very first thing. The second thing is how we fit the pinch collar on the dog is pertinent. So this collar always sits up very, very high under the dog's ears, and it fits very, very snug. So I'm going to take a couple of links out of here and just put this on her so it fits her nice and snug high up under her ears. And now what I'm going to do, when I first put the pinch collar on the dog, I just let the dog wear the pinch collar for days without ever hooking it onto anything. Then the second thing I'm going to do is I am always, always, always going to back up the pinch collar. So if you look here up close, the pinch collar is sitting right here on her neck. So it sits up really high under her ears and under her jawline. So there's no pressure on her actual neck. It sits high, high up under her neck. And then what I do is from the choke chain or the martingale or whatever collar you're using, now I hook into the pinch. And as you notice, I always use a very small pinch collar. So I don't use the real big mediums or larges. This is a small, a 2.25 millimeter, and I'm insured here. So if this pinch collar were to come off like this, I still have a backup and I still have the dog on a chain, which is important because pinch collars come apart all the time, and if you lose the pinch collar, you lose the dog unless you do it my way. Now, put this back on. So this here is the dreaded pinch collar. So many people are so against this tool that it kind of makes my blood boil because they're giving it a bad representation. You'll always see people in demonstrations. I saw it on TV the other day, a trainer who had no idea how a pinch collar works, put this on a host on a TV show and started yanking the host's arm around, telling the host to do something. This trainer, although popular, has no clue what this tool does. This tool used properly is a very humane and easy tool for a dog to understand. Used improperly, it's a device of torture, I agree. However, used incorrectly, your hand, your mind, your foot, or anything else can be a device of torture. Maya, come around. Klutz. Good. So used correctly, this sits up very, very high on the dog's neck. We separate it by pushing any one of the prongs out and fastening it here. Now I'm going to put it on my own neck just to show you that it sits snug on the neck, and this tug here simply contracts these little spikes but does no damage. So for every time you see that picture on the internet that some positive only trainer is selling you that this grows into the dog's neck, it has zero chance of growing into your dog's neck because you're not going to leave it on your dog's neck. It's a training tool. You're going to put it on to train. You're going to teach your dog, like I showed you with Maya, through leash pressure, how to teach the dog that when this happens, you move in this direction, it turns off. When this happens, you move in this direction, it turns it off. I teach my dog how to turn this off. There's nothing negative about a tool if the dog fairly understands what the tool is and how the tool works. So as I pull this, it's not doing anything more pain-inflicting than a flat collar would do. Or it's not doing anything more painful than withholding food from a dog for a day will do. This here is teaching a dog this slight amount of pressure makes you move this way. When I see a trainer put this on a dog and yank the dog and the dog yelps and screams, that's abusive. I will agree with you on that. But it's not abusive to teach the dog how to use this tool. It's a fair tool, it's a fine tool, and it's a tool that can make your dog training easy. Every time I work in a shelter, I see countless dogs that were given up on by solely positive trainers because they're going to pick and choose which dog they're going to work with. They're going to pick and choose what method they're going to use, and if that method doesn't work on that dog, they're going to get rid of the dog. They're going to say that dog can't be trained, that dog's too aggressive, that dog's too high drive, and they can't get it to work. So if it doesn't work with one sole method, we throw the baby out with the bathwater. We get rid of the dog. Balanced trainers have a better theory. Our theory is let's find what works for each individual dog and let's use that tool to make that dog have a happy life. If that tool is a pinch collar, we're going to use a pinch collar. If that tool is an electric collar, we're going to use an electric collar. In my personal practice, I've probably taken more pinch collars off of dogs than any other trainer I know, because some dogs don't respond well to this. That's not the fault of the tool, that's the fault of the trainer who didn't make the right decision. So, pinch collar, sitting on a dog's neck. I've had this on my neck. I can pull it as hard as I want. Here, it doesn't do any more damage than a flat collar would do. In fact, it's going to give a dog a lot easier scope of direction of what we're asking the dog to do by putting slight pressure in a smaller area than a flat collar would do. Because I see dogs at the end of flat collars all the time choking themselves out because the collar is pushing against their throat so hard, and the person at the end of the leash was never given the proper instruction on how to get a dog to respond to them. I urge you to learn the tools that will work for your dog. A pinch collar can be a great tool for some dogs. It might not be the right tool for every dog, but don't rule it out. If a quality trainer asks you to use a pinch collar and shows you a fair way to do it, like I've explained to you in this video, I urge you to try it. Don't give up on your dog. All these crazy contraptions where you put ropes around your dog's nose or these harnesses, all that is crazy, crazy money-making gimmicks that only work because there's no other way around. You're never seeing the third option, which is a pinch collar, which is an e-collar, anything like that. Tools that have been developed, that have worked for countless dogs, but you're not putting them on there because somebody sold you a bill of goods and said, this is an article of torture. It's not an article of torture. I'll leave an open invitation to any trainer who wants to meet me at any shelter, anywhere, at any time. You pick the first dog for me. I pick the second dog for you. We'll meet back in an hour or two, or any period you determine. You get the second worst dog in the shelter. I'll take the worst one. And let's see who comes back with a dog that we can save their life. Because when they're in the shelter, it's life and death. When it's pets, it's not. So if this works on a pet, why not use it? Think about your decisions. Make a conscious decision to do what's best for your dog, not what's best for the person who's trying to make money off of you.